This is our first series, it's our first interview in a series that we're going to be doing based on the concept of how health and fitness helps you do better at your job. So we're trying to explain to people and try to tell people and teach people working out is not just for working out. It's, everyday person that works, how health and fitness can help their job, back problems, whatever it may be. So our first guest that we have is actually Cory Brookins. He's actually one of my clients. He's a videographer. And I just wanted him to explain what this means, adds to what he does as a profession. So as we can see, he's not a bodybuilder, even though he looks like it. But but our mission is to show people it's about more than just working out. It's about how this can help you benefit in your everyday life, your everyday job of eating healthy, working out, and adding those things, how it can play a great role in what you're everyday doing. So this is our first series, which we're going to be doing on Wednesdays. And like I said, our first guest is actually Cory Brookins, who's a videographer. And I'm going to let him explain what it means to him to include workout and how it affects his job. So go ahead, Cory.
Yeah, well, first, before we get into the conversation, thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast. Underdogs on Top. This is an honor. Usually I listen to the podcast as an ordinary listener, in my car, and sometimes I'll watch it on YouTube. But to be here in the studio with Sir Earl and with Chie, it is an absolute honor. So thank you so much. I guess to start out, I'm so used to Q&A. Like, if you ask me a certain question, it kind of helps me delve into it like that. So maybe we can fashion it like that.
What does your life or your commitment to a fitness life, how does it help you do your job?
Yeah.
Well,
So the way it helps me.
maybe you need to introduce yourself, Cory.
Oh,
I told him Cory Brookins is a video.
Yeah, but he has company.
well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So
Let the audience know what you do, completely everything.
okay.
Okay?
So that's Chie that's speaking. She's
Behind the camera
So
today.
she's actually doing my job.
Yes.
See, and one thing about it, people are going to notice that it's a very close bond. It's because I'm his trainer. He works at our club.
Yeah.
We stood up at the marriage. We've been on him a long time, him and his wife, Kanisha. Yeah. We've been on him a very long time. So that's why it sounds, the familiarity between him, us, and Chie is that, we are all friends. We've been friends a long time.
Yeah, he's right. We're talking. We're talking over 10 years. Yeah. I started first training with Earl in 2013, and so here we are in 2025 at the time of this recording. So that lets you know how long it's been. But yeah, so who is Cory Brookins? Cory Brookins is a professional videographer. I work in the television and entertainment industry. I've been working within that capacity for about over 20 years now.
What are not to interrupt you, but what are some of the things that you've done, so for people that's not familiar, like some of the things that you've done, places that you've worked, I know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But a lot of the people that's going to see this don't know.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what's a videographer? Okay.
What's a videographer? So, videographer in terms of me. So, I work, like I said, within television. I do strictly video, not photography. But I've had a chance to work with a lot of different people. Oprah Winfrey. I've worked with different networks as far as locally and nationally. We are here in Chicagoland, so some of the places that I've worked at here in Chicago is with the Chicago Bulls. They're actually one of my clients. I work with them for a lot of their entertainment segments. I've had a chance to work on Lollapalooza. That's an annual music festival that's held here in Chicago each year. I've had a chance to do different award shows or whatnot. Also work in news as well, different sports and things along that line. So it's a variety of what I do. In terms of my working out and how that is actually consistent with my actual career, I train with Earl, as he mentioned earlier. We do a lot of workouts. We work on the back, we work on arms, legs, basically everything head to toe. It is really imperative. My workout is really imperative because I'm not just a cameraman, but I specifically work a camera that's called a Steadicam. And that Steadicam features 3 parts. There's a vest, there's the actual Steadicam, and then there's like an articulating arm that has a set of 2 springs inside there. The springs is what makes it steady. That's the name Steadicam. But in order to work Steadicam, it's important that you have a strong back and that you also have strength in them legs, because those are the 2 things that's really getting a good workout, because you're carrying some heavy equipment. And a lot of times people will ask me whenever they see me working it on a show, and they'll say, how much does that weigh? Because it looks really heavy. And a lot of times I will tell them that it could be anywhere from like 50 pounds to 70 pounds. So if you think about a dumbbell that's like 70 pounds, that's pretty much how much weight that I'm wearing on me.
Okay, you work out how many days a week?
I train 2 days a week.
Okay.
And so one day, the first day I usually come in within that week. As you know, we work on upper body, back, arms, core. And then that second day, it's all about legs. Everything from the waist down.
And also, I wanted to point out that he's too shy. He works a lot as a model, and so there's different photo shoots and different things that he's responsible to do. So my part of helping train him is the look that he wants to get, because he does take a lot of pictures, a lot of photography. And so I'm not really his manager, but I am.
He is.
and so what people need to understand, when you look at pictures of models or whatever they may be wearing or whatever, this person has to be in shape, and you have to stand in a certain way. It plays such an important part to have great pictures. So in your words, how important of a part does it play in your modeling career to be in shape, to work out consistently? How much of a part does that play when you get those parts?
It's really vital. It's super important because it is the nonverbals that do the loudest talking. So whenever I'm doing any sort of modeling gig, the first thing that people see is how you look.
Right.
And that speaks volumes, because it lets them know, them being the people who may want to cast you for the job, it lets them know, okay, is this person in shape? How are they conducting themselves whenever they're not shooting? What are they eating? What are they not eating? Are they engaged in any sort of activity that can help them fit the role for what we're reaching out to them for? And so, as you've mentioned before, when it comes down to fitness and things like that, 80% of it is your diet,
Yeah.
and then the 20 is basically what you're doing in the gym. But you can work out as much as you want, but if your eating is not on par, or if it's not correct, then you're just going to look like blah. And they will recognize that. They will see that, and then sometimes you may not get the gig because of A, you just didn't fit the description of what they were looking for, or 2, you look good, you're handsome, easy on the eyes, but your body looks like mess. So they say we need the complete package, not half of it.
Now, I know one thing, and it's based on, because I know you, but I'm trying to act for the audience like I don't. How important is it to monitor and follow your nutrition and journaling and things like that play a part that they coincide with everything else.
It's really important. And if I'm being honest, that was something that when I first started training with Earl, I didn't recognize just how important it was, the nutrition aspect. I was really excited to come lift weights, get on the Stairmaster and do all those things. But when it came down to the nutrition, that is where I was really dropping the ball at. And that was in the beginning, because I didn't recognize how important it was and how so much it was a helping hand to work it out. So in the beginning, I wasn't keeping a journal. And it's funny because I can remember the days me and Earl, we would like be arguing literally like we was like in a boxing match, and we would just be going head to head about journaling. And I'd be like, oh, I don't think it's that important. It's fine. He'd be like, no, it's it takes what it takes. It takes what it takes. And I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. And I keep working out. But then one day, it dawned on me that I'm not seeing the results that I want to see, and obviously something is incomplete. And then that's when I heard Earl's voice. It takes what it takes. You gotta sacrifice. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me stop waiting for a feeling. Because I think what happens a lot of times is we wait for a feeling as confirmation to act on something. And whenever that feeling doesn't come, we feel like it's not the time. But that can actually be a trick. It can actually be a distraction, the feeling itself. So I went ahead, I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the store. I remember going to Walmart, and I bought me those composition books, the black and white ones. And I wrote on there, Cory's Food Journal. I said, here we go. Let's just go ahead and do it. And when I first started journaling, I did not eat all of the right foods. So I'm not going to be that guy that said, I got the journal and I was eating all the right foods, A to Z. No, that was not me. I wrote down McDonald's, I wrote down Burger King, I wrote down Culver's, I wrote down Olive Garden, I wrote down every single place I went to. And then I was able to look back at that journal. Like I remember you telling me that you gotta look back at it, and Chie would mention the same thing. And I said, okay, I looked in the mirror, I didn't like what I saw. I said, well, I'm working out, I'm journaling, but the journaling, it just didn't stop there. You actually have to go back and look at the journal, no matter if it's something on there that's good, that was helping you get towards your goal, or if it was something that was pushing you back. And it hurted when I did it in the beginning. And sometimes, depending on what's going on as far as life itself, it still makes me cringe sometimes. But I managed to start doing that, and that was 2022. I'll never forget, it was actually May of 2022. And here we are, 3 years later, still journaling. And a lot of times, I don't journal whenever I'm done with the meal sometimes. Because sometimes my days can be really busy. I'm a new father. The job is really demanding. Life is demanding all in itself. So I'm not journaling every time I'm done eating. But I will set aside some time. And most of the time it's toward the evening, once the house is quiet. And I'll say, okay, let me go ahead and journal. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll take pictures of my meals. Because if you have an iPhone or an Android, obviously it has a date and time stamp. And that helps me to pinpoint exactly what time I ate. And all that plays a role into my overall look in terms of what I do.
Okay.
It's so important, the nutrition, and then like how much you eating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got a lot to do with the gain of muscle or lose body fat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you made a lot of changes after you started really micromanaging yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did, because I remember I was dropping away. And I remember I told you
Right.
that. I said, I'm going down. Like, what's going on? And I remember one Sunday night, I took out 3 journals. I laid them all out. And I literally went like, okay, what happened from this weight that I was looking good, feeling good, to right now? Where did I drop the ball? And just doing that alone, it helped me.
Right.
It wasn't nothing magical. It wasn't no magic pill or shot. It was no black and white handwriting. Because I remember the other thing I talked to you about was, and this is why you was rebuking me, and that was about journaling electronically.
Right.
Because they have so many food journal apps that's out.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's not bad. I can just dial it in there, and then after a while, it'll automatically remember. But what I like about handwriting, as far as food journal, is there's a relationship that's there. There's a connection that's there with the hand and the pen and you writing. And some days when you look back at your journal, you can tell when you was calm, and then there's times you can tell when you was in a rush, and then there's times you can tell when you was just not feeling it and you just wrote it down and keep writing. And I'm the type of guy that I'm very detail oriented. So if I know that there was a big gap from my usual eating schedule, I'll write in there why the gap was. Okay, I had to go do this, and this activity took a little bit longer and things like that. So yeah, journalism is really important.
To me, it's everything. It fills in the blanks and the spaces that otherwise people don't pay attention to. And people don't realize to not work out consistent, or to not journal, or to not eat the proper amounts, whether it's a lot or a little, they don't understand how important those things is. And that's part of one of the reasons that I wanted to start doing a podcast like this, is to show people, you don't have to be this bodybuilder or this figure model or any of that. It's just get disciplined and stay with it and stay consistent. And you like a lot of people, they'll ask Chia, how do you continue to do your journal, do your workout, prepare your meals, do all this, do that? I have to do it. What you said was true. Ain't nothing magical. You gotta do it, and it's so many people were always saying. I hear it a lot. Well, I'm busy and I'm this and I'm that. Yeah, but do you want to continue to work out the hardest you can and still look like total shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like you gotta give yourself. You owe it to yourself.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah, people, when I'm working in different places, and sometimes they'll look at me and they'll be like, man, you look really good, or what are you doing? And sometimes I ask myself, do I really give them the honest answer, or do I just give them this short, simple, brief answer? And sometimes when I go with the latter, they're like, no, you got to be doing something else. And I'm like, no, Like I remember one time I was working at the Cubs studio, and we had some downtime, and I took out my journal and started writing. And one of the ladies who I work with, she asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm just writing down some of the food that I ate from earlier. I have a food journal. And she was like, oh, are you calculating the liters, or water intake or the calories? And I said, no, I'm not really going that in depth. I'm just writing down everything. And you should have saw the look on her face. She was like, you actually writing down what you eat? And I'm like, yeah, this is not a temporary thing. This is a commitment. This is a lifetime commitment as far as what I'm doing. And I think that's the other part too. What happens is, and you and I, we talked about this. See, here's the deal. Me and Earl, we've been having therapeutic moments. We be talking about some Dr. Phil, Oprah Winfrey theme type stuff.
That's why your wife always be like, why are you keeping my husband here 3 hours?
Yeah.
Well, we got to think we got to handle.
He training his back for 3 hours. But we be having really good in-depth conversations, and one of the things that we talked about was goals. And although goals are good, goals sometimes can put you in this temporary mindset. I'm doing this until I accomplish that. And then when I'm done, or when I accomplish that, whatever that is, you fill in the blank, then I'm going to dial it down. I'm going to kind of relax and then go back to it. It's no, the journaling is what it is. We're going all the way with this. Train, working out, drinking your water. It's all the way. There is no destination, and then I'm going to sit back and watch the sunset. It's not that.
Right.
It's you have to be disciplined to really every day write it down. That's really hard for people to do. Journaling is, just write it down. No, it's hard to do. You know what I mean?
The thing that to me that makes it hard is what are you willing to do?
Do right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't want to achieve nothing, then fuck it, don't write it down. But if you want to achieve something and really do it right, this is what you got to do.
I think once you start, and in the beginning, it's more so because of new things.
Yeah.
One more thing is added to your life, right?
Right.
So, but then that more you do, when you don't do it, now you'll be like, damn, I didn't write it down today.
Yeah, you feel like a part of your day is incomplete, all because you didn't journal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can't begin to tell you how many times that has happened to me where I had to go back almost like 4 days and sit back, and sometimes it would take me, I'm not being dramatic, it would probably take me like a good 30-40 minutes to go back and write down everything, but I did it. And in the beginning, it was waiting for the feeling to do it.
Right.
But now it's bypass the feelings. You gotta ignore the feelings, because the feelings is what's gonna throw you off, because you're looking for a feeling to do it. And sometimes the feelings can turn around and make you go off track. You know what I mean? It's just like with, drinking your water. You drink your water, you got to be consistent at that. You just can't say, oh, okay, I look good today, so I can probably go back down tomorrow. You got to keep going with this.
So journaling is almost like brushing your teeth now.
Journaling is like brushing my teeth, washing my face, all that stuff. It's
a
like I said, I feel, and then to add on, I also do body poses.
I was just about to bring it up. That's one more of the things that I had him doing, because I told him, I said, posing is a bodybuilding technique. And what it does is it brings out and enhances the muscles. And when I first started telling him to do that, he was like, dude, come on, man. I got too much other shit I got to do.
Yeah.
And now you couldn't pay him to miss posing.
Listen, when I don't pose in the morning, I feel like I failed. And I know some people are like, it don't take all that. No, it does. it takes all of that. Because I want to be my best. And the posing, the food journal, working out, eating right, all of this transcends into what people see. A lot of times people, they'll look at you and they're like, it's something different about her or something different about him. And it's not so much how you talk and your conversation. It's not so much that. That plays a role too. But it's just your image. It's the nonverbals. It's like, man, I could tell he's intentional. She's intentional about what they do. And it shows through how your body looks, your physique. And so the posing really helped out with that. And I remember there, like, again, I work in television. I'm a freelancer. So my schedule it has a wide range. So sometimes I could be at work at 4 a.m. Sometimes I have to be at work at like till 12 noon, 2 o'clock. And so let's take the early mornings, for example. One client, I have to be there sometimes at 4 a.m., which means I have to get up at 2 a.m. And within that 2 a.m., I say, okay, I need to accommodate time for posing.
Right.
So now it means I may have to get up at 1:45.
Wow.
But at the same time, I got it done.
Right.
So it gives me greater peace of mind. I feel, and this is a good feel, I feel accomplished because I actually did it. I went past how I felt, being sleepy and all that stuff, and I got it done. So it does play a role. You gotta do what it takes.
Right.
No matter when you see the sign or when you don't.
Right. Yeah.
So just, Cory being probably a lot of Chicago Bulls people that come in, the fans that watching, here's the guy. Then the body cam, I mean the your camera, your steady cam, and he's not just made it.
It was funny because when he's out doing stuff like here's something like when you were doing the thing at the church, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be filming over here," So I always know where he's going, what he's doing. I had so many people come up to me. Yeah, I saw you guys video out there.
And especially like those big concerts, you're talking about a lot of pros. I mean, I saw you on the stage with Megan Thee Stallion, what I mean?
Sexy Red.
Sexy Red.
Sexy Red. And,
right.
And it was like, and that was 2024. It was like 90, 95 degrees.
Right. And how many hours?
Oh, that was like a 12-hour day.
See?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
be, conditioned to do that. You know
you
what I
gotta
mean?
really be conditioned.
Yeah.
And see, and what's funny, you mentioned that. So of course, everyone has a different body, different genetic makeup or whatnot. For me, whenever I do Steadicam, I have to eat even more.
Right.
Because
Yes.
there's a lot of calories that's being burned because I'm wearing this heavy equipment.
Mm.
So imagine being outside. It's 95 degrees. I got this gear on me. Sun is blazing. Like as soon as I'm done, I'm not gonna eat the 2 chicken breasts. I'm probably gonna eat 4. Like, man, that dude is a pig. Like, no, this is a part of my regimen.
Right.
This helps me to be great.
And the thing is, with things like that, you understand because you mastered what your body needs and what it don't need.
Yeah.
So when people are looking, they don't understand what you understand. It's like, no, it may look like I'm just eating a bunch of damn chicken breast,
Yeah.
but I already got it calculated. I know what I got to do.
Yeah.
And that's the part people don't give enough to learn to be at that. They see you doing it and they want to be that, but it takes time. You just can't wake up one day and say, I don't eat 4 chicken breasts.
Yeah, you gotta train to.
You gotta
that.
train for your body to accept it. You have to know what your eating journal is like. Okay, at this time I can do this. At this time I can get a cheat meal. At this time I got to do this. It's all, to people, it looks just willy-nilly, but it's a plan to it. And that's why you always get people that says, oh, they'll see, like Mike was saying one time, Cory's looking great. It's a reason for it. Like I had told him, like the one thing that I had to do is, to me, his back wasn't up to par. So we had to do a lot of work on his back. And from knowing as a trainer, I don't know that much, but he is not allowed to train shoulders and arms.
It was funny is yesterday I was doing these I don't know,
Kickbacks.
I was doing kickbacks, and he was like, "Man, your arms getting big, man. We're not even training your arms." That's just what it is.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, it becomes fun when you begin to understand why you're doing it,
Right.
and when you see the results. Some people, what they'll do is they look for the results like the next week, and it's like, if it's not there, it doesn't mean that you're not doing something right.
Right.
But one thing that I noticed throughout this journey is the changes, the improvements are subtle. They're subtle, and not only are they subtle, but they're more easily recognized by the next person.
Right.
You may not always see it yourself. Somebody else may see it.
Surround you, yeah.
Right. Like that,
Yeah.
Or you say when a couple of people outside of our studio, people think that you were the football athletes, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure if you all can hear Chie. She's on the side of the camera, but she was mentioning about how I went to somewhere and a lady thought I was a football player. So, funny story. I was going to the library to do some studying, and I was asking for a study room. And when I got there, the lady, she grabbed the key and she's escorting me to the room. She was like, "Are you a football player?" You play with Chicago Bears? I was like,
That's a good compliment.
I said, no, I'm just coming here to study. She said, "Oh, I thought you was an athlete." I said, "No, but thank you."
And that's like when he first joined, that was the thing. I'm like, I want you to look athletic, but not look like a bodybuilder.
Right.
And he's like, okay. I'm like, yeah. And like I told you that time, people don't like how bodybuilders look.
Yeah.
But when you look athletic and you look like you look in good shape, people love that. They love that look. I'll tell you, bodybuilder like me, people don't get that. They don't care.
You're so right, because again, it brings like this mysteriousness when you see somebody who they're not a bodybuilder, but at the same time that they're not the average Joe. It's
right.
like, man, it's something different that they can't really pinpoint, and so at night it brings about this certain level of curiosity,
right?
And that sparks all kind of interest and conversation.
And like that's one of the things that why I wanted to have this new series of podcasts is to show people I mean, we train and prepare different amounts of people, ballerinas, actors. We do it all because everybody's different.
Yeah.
So it's not like you come to us and we tell you, you say, well, I don't want to look like a body. No, you want to look like a bodybuilder. Get in there.
Give me that 80-pound weight.
So it's designed to try to educate people that there's multiple facets to being what you want to be. You know, through weight training, you have to be healthy and weight training, but it's not, oh well, you know, you're going to be a bodybuilder. No, that's not your job. That's not what you do. That's not how you look. And to look that way, all of a sudden people ain't calling you no more. You're like, hey, I used to get good jobs, but they don't call me no more.
They don't call me. Did I say something wrong? But you know, it was one thing you mentioned to me about bodybuilding, and Joe Weider, so that's what it was, who like started that. The lessons,
right,
and the principles, how they follow you outside of the gym,
right,
and that is so true, because even now, like recently, I just made a decision to buy me another camera system, and I'm not going to tell you when I saw you again when we trained. But I decided to buy me another camera system because I see where the industry is going.
right.
And I kept going back and forth at first. I'm like, I know if I get this will get the job done. But those feelings kept trying to come in to try to deter me and sway me away. Like, well, no, you got the Steadicam. You'll be fine. But it's like, no, you have to keep taking it up a notch. You have to keep excelling. And those principles from the gym, it followed me and it helped me make that.
And that's why I constantly talk and preach to people to achieve success is about learning. It's about education. And that education, that discipline, the goals and all those things, that's what you learn when you're actively a part of physical fitness. It goes into your system. And that's, to me, one of the reasons that I wanted to have it is that people don't understand. You know, so we as people, we are labeled as he want to be a bodybuilder, she want to be a figure model. No, I want to learn discipline. I want to learn goal setting. I want to be. It's a reason I have the things that I have, because my mindset is that of a person that, like you say, you look, okay, I want to get this camera system, but it has to be disciplined. You have to understand you're getting this for a purpose. You're not just getting it to get a camera and walk around and show me, hey, look what I got.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
No, it's more than that. And these are the things and the lessons that I feel more people, if they took the time to learn, it would be a much better race of people.
Yeah, it would. People, and I've had to come to this realization, is that it's not about vanity.
Right.
That word.
Yeah.
It's not about vanity. It's about something deeper than that. This is about a way of life in terms of how you think, the kind of decisions you make. And working out helps to accomplish that, because a lot of times you go in the gym, some days you don't feel like being there, but then you end up getting it done. And then, you know, next thing you know, weeks ahead, you go to this one event, this gala, or, you know, this meet and greet, and they like, wow. You look amazing, you know what I mean? But you're not doing it for that, but it helps to
side effect. Yeah,
that's the side effect. It's a good side effect.
Yeah. And all the things are a byproduct of the basis of what we try to teach in working out, being healthy, podcast, whatever it may be. It's like they look and they think, like, she ain't look great. Well, she don't look great because she wished to look great. She ain't eating fucking fried chicken talking about I want to look great.
Yeah.
You know, it's a price you have to pay, and that price is what you learn through health and fitness. Yeah. You know, and you learn those things, and then you grow to apply those to so many different areas that you become a better person, and people don't know why. And you're right, it's all side effects.
Yeah. You're determined. You're determined. And I want to say this last thing before we wrap. You mentioned Chie. There's times when I'm working out at the gym, and it's me I'm Earl's only client, and then it may be nobody else in the gym but she ain't working out. And there's times I'll look at her while she's training. I'm like, man, that is the example of being consistent. You train for like what 6 months,
Right.
and then you go on the stage, you win the show, or you come second, third place, whatever, get the trophy. Yay, celebrate, hurrah, hurrah that day. But the next day, you're back and you're doing what you was doing to get on the stage. And people don't see that.
Right.
It's like, yeah, have fun, enjoy the moment, soak in the moment. But when it's all done, you got to go back and do it again.
Yeah. All right. So, in wrapping this up, I want you to give I know you have a podcast and the other things. I want them to give. I want you to give the address so people that watch this can also support your work, and we can just continue to make it happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yes, as Earl mentioned, I do have my own podcast. It's called The Chosen Insight, and it is a podcast where we discuss Christian apologetics, and we also do a tiny touch on fragrances as well. You can find us on YouTube at The Chosen Insight. We are also on social medias as far as Instagram. You can look us up, The Chosen Insight. And if you want to keep up with me, Cory, you can look me up on Instagram. Cory is Chosen. Cory is Chosen. And also on Facebook, I am classified as Chosen Videographer. There you have it.
All right. So, until next time, I think we had a great podcast. I think we enlightened a lot of people on going in the direction that we want to go in, to show people it's more to just working out. There's so much to be accomplished. There's so much you can do. And like I said, we're talking to people that this is what they do for a living. It ain't about being a bodybuilder. It ain't about being a figure model. It's about living a lifestyle that's conducive to make those things happen and make you the success that you're working for. Like I remember when Cory worked a regular job. So
Yes. Oh, but God delivered me.
But all those things, they help you. You did not become disciplined and goal setting focused in your endeavor of going into owning your own by just one day you're waking up lucky. No, it don't happen like that. You have to have a plan, and you have to believe in yourself. It's so much you can learn from fitness that it's way more than just being in shape. So,
yeah, it really is.
So I'm very, very glad that you joined us for our first podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You really do. So, with that being said, we until the next time we do our next podcast, I'm Sir Earl. This is Cory Brookins. That's Chie Talui behind the camera, and we out of here. Peace.
Peace.